going to get right down to business because I know you guys have been waiting for us to chime in on all things NBA here on the pod. We'll talk about some other things in the NBA like Victor Wembanyama, the Boston Celtics, maybe even a little Dame time in Milwaukee a little bit later on in the show. But first, let's get to one of my favorite exercises, Danny. You know what that is? Do you remember what that is?
No. One of your favorite exercises? No.
Yeah. Well, as it pertains to the show, you always go trending. And so sometimes I just like to type in your name on Twitter.
So the trending,
or X, or whatever it's called, and see what is being said. So there's two things that I want to get your comments on before we talk about, oh yes, of course, guys, we'll talk about James Harden. Number one, Patrick Beverly on his podcast, he recently said that when he met you in LA, I think this was 2 years ago, he thought it could have been on site. He didn't know what the energy might have been. If you guys don't remember, Patrick Beverly 2 years ago made some comments about Chris Paul during his ESPN appearance, and Danny didn't like the comments that Pat Beverly made. Basically said, what was it, a traffic cone? He called
CP a cone, and I just thought he went far with it, and I stand on what I said, of course. And I said, when anybody's guarding Luka, like, you're a cone too, that type of thing. So I'm like, when you're talking about a guy like Luka Doncic, who's an MVP caliber player, all-star player, there's not many people stopping him. So regardless of who you put in front of him, whether it's him or CP, you're going to need help. You're not stopping that guy. So yeah, I made some remarks. It went viral. It was interesting because yes, it was a year and a half, about a year ago in the summertime. I rehab at a facility, which is the Clippers facility. He works out there sometimes because they have a nice little half-court gym in there. And yes, we did run into each other the first time. It was a little awkward, but Pat's a funny guy. Talks his shit, but he's a great guy. When you get to know him, there's a lot of love for his teammates. Great locker room guy that you need. Tries to bring everybody together, tries to be the glue, tries to understand what's going on, and will push you. Necessary, him and PJ. Necessary, I wouldn't say necessary evil, but like, he's the guy that you need to stir up some things sometimes, but necessary guy or necessary vet to push you, necessary guy to make sure to hold people accountable, him and PJ, Tuck. So, it's been an interesting, group that we have, but it's been a real pleasure getting to know those guys, the guys that I've been playing against for 15 years that I've never been teammates with. So, Tuck is one of them, Pat's one of them. And, we have a pretty good bond. And I was telling you, even off air before, like, we're on the same team. We have a good chemistry. Blue team be struggling. We're on the white team with the other team. We cause a little havoc. So we have a good rhythm with the group that we have. It's me, him, and Kelly. And, we get some good things going in practice.
Yeah, I want to know more about the team chemistry again. We will talk about James Harden in a moment. But another reason why your name popped up on social media, there was an article that came out from ESPN as it pertains to Ja Morant. And the article went on to talk about numerous events that took place in Ja Morant's career most recently that really had a negative public perception of him. We don't have to go into all the details of everything that happened. But also in that article, they quoted team sources. And I'm going to read here a one tweet. I hope y'all also know that team source is definitely Danny Green. And I think it's because obviously when you left the Grizzlies, you did some work for ESPN. So maybe that's like, oh, it must be Danny Green. Obviously, it's not real, but it's an interesting dynamic that you have.
Yeah. When you're the media guy, you've worked for ESPN.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, it's crazy. Yeah. So when you're in the media, it's automatic. You're the media snitch. I have been doing this podcast for 5 years. I've been in locker rooms for 15 years.
6 years.
I've never 6 years.
This is year 6. Ain't it?
Started 2018. 5 years, bro. 5 years.
Oh, 5 years. 5 years in the game.
5 years and some change. So yeah, I've been in locker rooms for 15 years. I've never been. I mean, I wouldn't say never, but maybe in college was the time where I was on the media and leaked something that I shouldn't have leaked. That's another story for another day.
Okay, I'll write that one down. As long as I've been in the
league, I've never been one of the guys to leak anything to me. If I had something to say, I would tweet it directly or say it publicly on my podcast or in studio. But I'm not the source or the snitch or the media. And everything that we have in the locker room, I keep it sacred to the locker room. There's plenty of stories I could easily tell. There's plenty of things that go on that I can spill. I've never been the guy to be the source or the team snitch or the media snitch to leak something. So, but that is interesting that, I mean,
Comes with
that
the
people
game.
perceive that. It comes with the game, and I'm the easy target. Danny's the media guy. But what was the reports that came out that supposedly I'm the resource?
Oh no, it was just there was a number of insider opinions about Ja Morant, and the team gave him too much leeway. And T Morant is the big issue because he's trying to live out a superstar life through his son. Like, I'll send you the article, but it was very negative, just
For sure.
as it pertains to how the Grizzlies handled Ja Morant.
And a lot of those things, what it sounds like, I wasn't even on a team long enough to be able to to really dive in or hone in onto what was going on. And I don't think that it's a secret of how Ja operates or moves around. He keeps his family close, and it's an easy target to talk about his family and the people around him as well. Like, just because they're always around, it's like, oh, when it could have nothing to do with them, but because he's with this group of people, we're going to target this group of people. And we know he spends a lot of time with them. He takes care of these people. They have a strong they must have a strong influence on him in a negative way, because he's obviously acting when it could just be him going through something on his own. But people are going to find, ways to point the finger at everybody around the person and him as well, and share blame.